And here we are, round 4 of the UK Angling Championship, the final frontier in what has been an awesome tournament so far. There is a race leader, there is a chasing pack, and today will be the decider. It's going to be a gripping event. Two perfect scores at the start of the tournament saw Paul Holland take an early commanding lead. However, round 3 wasn't so good for him, and that allowed the youngster, Mr. Andy Power, to sneak in and take over at the top of the table. Now, just behind him, we have Richie Hull, so it's very, very close to the top, and Richie knows a thing or two about this place. There's a chasing pack too, and whatever happens today is going to be vital. It'll be very interesting to see where they draw. Well, Richie, the final frontier and the final chance, what would it mean to win the tournament?
I've been fishing top level for years and years now, and I've won a lot of big matches, but nothing compares to the UK champs. Fishing over 4 rounds against the quality of anglers you've got here, just be unbelievable. For me as well as the sponsors, it's brilliant.
I mean everything, that's why you do it, you're here to win. And it's a lot of competitions there, you have like 10 brilliant anglers in it. With the UK champs, it's all the brilliant anglers in it. Everyone's, you know, a superstar, you've got to qualify for it. But I'd love to finish in the top 10. It's the consistency, that's the bit that I'm after.
Well, Andy entering the last round as race leader. Is that a lot of pressure, do you think?
Yeah, there is quite a bit of pressure, but I think it's going to be down to the draw today. I think you've just got to be the right end of your section and concentrate on what I'm doing, and hopefully it'll go my way. What would it mean to win this tournament? There's a lot of prestige in this tournament, and it's really a tournament I'd really like to win. I think there'll be a lot of respect for whoever wins it today.
What do you reckon the day's going to be like then? Barston has a habit of biting back.
Don't think it's going to be brilliant because there was a 48-hour cart match over the weekend and they've put a hell of a lot of boilies in, so I think it's going to be a tough match. Maybe £90 might win it, something like £80 to £90.
It'll sort the men out for the boys, these conditions. And talking of men, who are you worried about?
Well, I think Richie Hull's going to be my main threat, and there's a few that are a couple of points behind me, Paul Holland. But I think it's just going to be down to the draw, really.
The draw would decide where the guys will fish for the day, but not everything went to plan. Well, Richie, the draw's taken place now. You're in swim. What do you think of it?
It's not a particularly good area for carp, but it's a good area for skimmers and F1s. So I'm relying on the carp not showing because of the carp match at the weekend. I think that's the only chance I've got of getting a section win here.
Andy, just disturbing your prep for 2 seconds there. Reasonable peg?
Reasonable peg, but hard section, and a lot of good pegs in my section, I think, and a lot of good anglers in my section. So it's an alright area, but I think I'm up against it.
Well, Paul, you wanted a good draw, you've got one.
Yeah, definitely. And normally, as you know, this is the best section, and normally to win this section you've got to win the match, so I've got to be very positive. The viaduct, I felt like I tried to do too many things, and today I'll either come first or last. It's as simple as that. So yeah, going for it.
Well, there we go. The stage is set, the time is nigh. There's only one thing left to do, and that is to start the competition. Over to you. The expert joining me on the bank today is none other than the England international, an awesome superstar, I will say, Lee Kerry. Now, Lee, thanks for coming. Let's have a look at the tournament itself, because there is a match going on, but there's also these sections that we've been talking about. What goes on in the sections?
Well, it's really interesting, Rob. Like I say, there is a match, and the overall is decided on the biggest weight. However, for the championships, which is the real concern today on the final round, it's sections that matter. Sections of 10. So if in your section, if you manage to win your section, you get 1 point. And today, those leaders are up on sort of 4, 5, 6 points for the championships. They're all hoping for that maximum section win and 1 point.
So let's have a look at the sections themselves. We've got Andy Power. Now he's race leader at the moment. We've got Paul Holland and Richie Hull that are just behind him. And Paul and Andy, they're in the same section. How much of an effect will that have?
That's made it really interesting today, because straight away there's only one of them can win the section. So if Paul was to win the section, he's instantly taken a point off Andy. So then he's relying on people coming in between him to try and settle the point score. Richie's drawn not such a good peg in his section. However, he's not in Andy or Paul's section, so he doesn't have to worry about them directly beating him. He's just got to beat them in terms of section scores.
Now Richie in particular, he's got a couple of very good anglers in his section as well. He's got Nick Speed and he's got Simon Fry as well.
Yeah, I mean, Simon and Nick are also not just great anglers, but they're good on this venue. So, and they're on better pegs than Richie. I think Richie's done amazingly to be second in the championship today, and if he can pull something out of the bag, it'll be a really great result.
Well, we've talked about the main three, but there's a couple of others. I'm going to mention Pem Writing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pem's the dark horse today, because Pem's drawn a boss peg in his section, and I think that if he can get a section win and the others are all battling amongst themselves, then we're going to be in real trouble. I'd also got to mention Lee Wright. He's well up there in the championships. He's in a section where I think he's going to struggle to win the section because there's some better pegs, but fishing's a funny game, so he's got a good chance.
Well, good chance indeed. And we're looking at the overall tournament, but let's touch on this individual match as well. There is a flyer on this lake. It's peg 124. Who's in it? Grant Albert.
Yeah, well, I mean, Grant is ranked #1 in this tournament. He's a previous winner. They don't get any better than Grant in match fishing at the moment. And the fact that he's drawn that peg today, I can't see past him winning the match.
Another man in contention for the championship race at the moment is Lee here. He's not caught anything yet, but he's on a reasonable peg.
This is one of those pegs that, because the match is quite late today, 1 till 6, the last 2 or 3 hours, we saw Mark Roger here last year. I think he was around this area. And, you saw the fish came in late, so Lee's got every chance still, so should be interesting.
Adam Workley now into a half-decent fish by the look, Lee.
Yeah, he's got a good fish on here. He's going to be a big player in this section today, because Adam's a great angler and he's on a good peg, and he's of course in with championship leader and those just behind him, Andy Power and Paul Holland, so this could be a really important fish today.
It's a known big carp section this as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the lake's got a lot of big carp in it, but they seem to hang around out in this open water area here where we are here, and you can tell by the tackle Adam's using he's gone a long way, so it's definitely paid off at the moment because he's playing a big fish.
Very slow and steady with these big carp as well. It's almost like carp fishing, isn't it?
These sort of fish, they're worth 3, 4, 5 fish, and when you're chucking 90 to 100 yards, then one of these is really worth taking your time and getting in.
He's certainly had it on for a while. It's got to be towards 10 minutes now. It looks a double figure common carp.
I think it's a double figure common, yeah, definitely.
Heads up there, that's the point he wants, and look at that. Oh, it flipped itself into the net. That was nice and convenient.
Yeah, he's done a great job there.
Oh, and there, can you believe that? The hook link has just snapped while it's in the net. He's not going to be bothered about that though. It's in, it's safe.
Not bothered about that, yeah.
And that,
I think that's getting on for 12 or 13 pound, is that fish?
That's a creature. Well, here we are, the man everyone is watching at the moment, Mr. Power, and would you believe it? He's playing one.
He's playing this one a bit gingerly, which suggests to me it's a good fish or a better fish, and he's probably had a slower start, so he really wants to make this one count.
Missed that one there.
Just giving it a chance, I think.
Do they have a chance when he's around?
Not usually, no.
He likes his carp fishing as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, and he's odd class Andy in an all-rounder category, but he's exceptional at carp fishing, so he's going to have to, if it's a nice fish, he just wants to make him count at the moment, because as we know, it's not fishing particularly well. He's got it. Yeah, it's a nice F1, sort of 3 pound, so.
Nick Speed, always the danger man. At the start of the competition, didn't really feel like he was in a massive shout at the overall championship contention, but you just never know, and Barston does have a habit of biting back. Nick currently sitting on 8 points, and if he comes in with a section win to finish on 9 points, that could definitely be just about enough to take the title. reasonable fish on at the moment, and all of these big fish do play a massive part of the weight here at Barston. He's got that first time of asking. Nicky started off the day not necessarily thinking that this might be a championship contention, but there's always a chance, and you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'm catching a few fish, so I've just got to keep going, really. You know, it's not over till it's finished. So, you know, catching the odd fish. It looks as if the venue's fishing quite hard, to be honest. The first hour I only had 3 fish, and then gradually I've started getting the odd fish, but it's very steady. So it's a case of just keeping cool, calm and collected, keep sticking at what I'm doing, and hopefully I'll keep getting the occasional run of fish, and that's exactly what seems to be happening. So yeah, see what happens.
Well, it's the halfway stage in proceedings, and as is quite often the case, Barston is biting back. Things aren't going to plan for all of the early race leaders, and Lee, this is a complicated match now.
Rob, I cannot believe how it is really biting all the leaders. I mean, in the past we've seen the leaders come here, win the sections, we know what's happening. Today, we haven't got a clue. It's ever so difficult to know what's going on.
I have the listings as at the start, and let's just go through these and I'll throw across to you with them. Andy Power, Richie Hull and Paul Holland, they were the 3 that we were concentrating on first, 4, 5 and 6.
At the moment, if we wade in right now, Andy Power and Paul Holland are bottom 3 in their section. They're not catching any fish, there isn't any fish in their area, but things can change. And Richie Hull, well, he's at least 6th in his section. So
we're looking at Richie, if he's lucky, 11 points, the others 12 and 13 points.
Absolutely, yeah,
wow.
If we wade in now, yeah.
Well, there's 2 other guys that we need to be looking at. There's Tommy Hillier, there's Cian Wardle. What started off as a 3-horse race is now turning into a 13-horse race. It makes our life very difficult because we just don't know who's likely to win this.
No, but what an exciting finish we've got. I've said before, Barston can change in seconds. So if Andy Power has a run of fish, he's on 4 points, and with everybody else blowing out, he only needs to come 4th or 5th in his section with a good little run of fish and he'll win it again. But at the moment, we can't call it.
We can't call it indeed. That is the current state of play. They've got a little over an hour and a half left. They've got to pull the socks up, these guys at the top. The bonus big fish, they're making a big impact on the weights at the moment. And if these top boys do manage to get into them, there could be a different result. But at the moment, it's well and truly anybody's game. There's another man that is potentially in with an outside chance of success in the tournament. This is Paul Hiller. Everybody knows him as Tommy. Very, very, very consistent angler.
He's fishing pellets on the pole at the moment, and you can see there he's got a very, very lightly shotted float and a small pot just to keep the bait steadily going in. He's got an interesting battle here because on his right he's got Cian Wardle, who is also on the same points as him. So this is a really intriguing battle, and you know, it's one of those that it could even be a championship battle in the making without really anybody knowing it. Because it's fishing hard, the last hour is when it's all going to happen, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this now pans out.
And there we go. Tommy's into one, only a small one, but they all count.
Yeah, they do today, especially when you're fishing for £30. You know, he's catching some small hand-sized skimmers we've seen. He said he's had a couple of bigger ones as well, so he's taking his time. Every fish counts, and that's going to be really important today.
I think that's one of the great things about the UK Champs, you know, the different venues that are used. You've got real bag-up waters, you've got a carp water in Viaduct, you've got a variety of waters at Larford, you've got Lindholm where, you know, an awful lot of F1 fishing up there, and then you come down to Barston, it's completely different. So whoever walks away as champion has truly proved that they can fish very well on all manner of different venues.
Absolutely, that is the beauty of this competition. You know, there's every chance of drawing well, drawing bad, proving yourself on one species and not on another. So, you know, I think of the 4 lakes that are involved, or the 4 venues that are involved, that are, you know, they're all still waters. It really is a proof of a true angler's ability, and that's why we've got the top 10 at the moment who are all incredibly close, because it's very difficult to separate them over 4 matches.
Well, the race continues and we've got Pem now. He's had a great change of tactics and he's on a pellet waggler.
Yeah, I mean, pellet waggling is not a recognised method on this venue at all, but because we're fishing into the later hours, I wonder if it's just, you know, they're starting to play a part. But he mentioned that he's catching a few fish now, and as we know, he's well up there in the championship table, so could he prove a late surge maybe?
Just one big fish at this stage might do the difference.
Well, I mean, the pellet waggler's potential to throw that up, so it'll be interesting to see how this last hour pans out for him and a few others. So, you know, maybe there'll just be a few there, but maybe he'll keep catching.
We're back now behind Andy Power and there's a change of tactics. He's on the pole now. Is that a sign of desperation?
No, it's not a sign of desperation. It's just obviously he's hoping that there's going to be a few fish there, but it's just not been Andy's day at all. There's obviously no fish in this area, and he's one of the best in Britain at catching them. So I know that they can't be here in the numbers that they are for others, but it's blown this competition wide open, Rob.
Richie Hull now, another one of the championship contenders who is struggling in the dying stages. The light's fading fast here. It should be the time when all the big monsters are lurking out of the bushes, but he's just been down the edge. Not too much to say down there. Still in with a shout though. If he can get a 5th in section, it looks like 10 points is going to do it now.
I think it might even come down to weight, Rob. I can see 2 or 3 tying on points here.
We've looked at various permutations and connotations of the leaders. As we look further down the line, there are so many different connotations, permutations, it's actually going to be impossible to judge what the position is until we got the weights in.
Absolutely, yeah. It really is going to be very difficult, but we'll have to see. Another F1 this is for Richie.
It's pulling back, so whatever it is going to be important.
Yeah. One of the lake's smaller F1s, but he'll take it at this stage.
Well, there we have it. They've done all that they can do, and according to my watch, that is now the conclusion of the UK Champs 2013. With the proceedings so close, it was now for the scalesman to tell us who were the performers. All eyes were on Andy Power and Richie Hull. Well, Lee, there we have it, the fruits of a day's labour for Andy. Scales have been zeroed.
Yeah.
Let's find out what they're going to be looking at. He says he's got a bit more weight in this last hour.
Big 20 there, big 20 pound.
28. 27 pound 14. Is it going to be enough? The reason we've been so precise on this is that there is a weight of 38 pound 4 ounces in this section. This is just over or around the 38 pound mark. We need to see exactly where it is. 38.2. Is anybody else going to verify 38.2?
38.2.
38 pound 2 ounces. That means that he ends up 3rd in section. We think you're both on 8 points, so we think it's a tie-break. If that is the case, it goes to count-back, and we think, Andy, that you will be the leader on the count-back. It's that close, so it's the same as last year. With a sterling performance at Barston, Grant Albert won the honours on the day, but the count-back proved that Andy Power would be crowned overall UK champion. I tell you what, that was an incredibly tight finish.
I can't remember seeing something like that, Rob. It was absolutely incredible. Richie thought he had 20 pounds, so we ruled him out of beating anyone apart from, you know, a 4th sort of thing, and we thought we had him on 9 points. That was what he was saying. When he's pulled his fish out, he's weighed 38.2. There was a 38.4 in his section. That means 2 ounces cost Richie Hull the UK Championships. Richie's a great guy, and he'll be absolutely gutted. And in the same sort of thing, Andy Powers had 27.14 in his section, and there's 226 pounds, which means a pound has won Andy Power the UK Championships, which is incredible fishing. I can't catch my breath. Unbelievable.
It's incredible. And all I will say before we nip over to Andy and have a word with him is when you look at a whole year of competition fishing at this top level, do you know what the difference between winning and losing at championships was? One of them little 2 ounce skimmer bream. That's what it came down to.
Sensational.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
That is why this is such a good tournament. Well, Andy, there it is, the sun setting on a fantastic season, and you are now the UK champ. How does that feel?
It's an unbelievable feeling. Sitting there today, I thought I'd lost my chance. I think it slipped away from me, but it's been a ridiculously close match, and I really feel for Richie because that was so close.
It's been a proper emotional rollercoaster ride because it did look like you were out of it at one stage.
Yeah, I was feeling a bit sorry for myself there, but a little bit of inspiration, I think, going on the pole in a manic half an hour, and I've doubled my weight and I've ended up with enough points.
And so tight, as is often the case, but you've pulled it out the bag. Now there's a list of very big names on that trophy that you're holding there, and an awful lot of history as well. It must be fantastic to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. My name will be on it now, and that's a really good feeling.
Well done from all of us, mate. Well done.
Thank you. Cheers.